Okay, ready, set, go. Are you going or am I? Oh my god, I'm going?
You just
I thought
said
you were going.
second episode.
Are you ready to do this? Are you ready to get down to reality?
Oh, I'm ready to do this. Let's get down to reality.
Alright, it's fine. I'll keep that.
Good.
Welcome to our second episode of Down to Reality. We are your hosts. My name is Ro, also known as Reality Ops.
What's going on, everyone? My name is M. You might know me as Connection Queen X, and we are back for our second episode.
We were hoping to get at least 5 listens and honestly thought that that would be good. So we are very grateful for all of you putting your faith in us to even just spend a few minutes to listen to us talk about reality television and our favorite show, which is
Vanderpump Rules, 1000%. And yes, I have to say thank you guys so much for first your time and also the feedback. And we are really excited to be doing this. So much so that we are back for a second time around.
So we have taken we've done this about 375 times already, and this is 376. At this point, it is close again to the next episode. So we're going to just recap some of the like standout moments or thoughts that we had on episode, was it 4?
Episode 4.
Episode 4 of Vanderpump Rules. We're going to talk about things that stand out. And we're going to talk about some news. Like for one, Sandoval, New York Times Magazine.
Yeah, I just cannot. I cannot.
I do have some information, tea on that and some other things also that we'll throw in
Okay.
here.
Okay.
We'll talk a little bit about Schwartz's article, which was actually, I think, flew under the radar just because of Sandoval's article. Otherwise, it would have been a bigger thing. But it was actually a really good and interesting one, and that was from Rolling Stone.
I didn't even know about it until you brought that up when we talked about it, and I was like, "Wait, what?" So it's crazy how some things really do fly under the radar,
Uh
and
huh.
I can't wait to hear about it as we, like, talk about it later on, but, yeah, I had no idea that Schwartz even did an interview.
It was good. It was good. We'll talk a little about his Watch What Happens Live. We're going to talk about Jackson Brittany a little bit and some Vanderpump filming that's going on right now. So,
Ooh, okay, you can't see me, but right now my fingers, I'm doing, like, a little maniacal, like, "Ooh." You know what I mean?
yeah. So, should we talk about the article first?
Yep,
Get that shit out of the way.
exactly.
Ay, ay, ay. Okay, let me pull it up. So, if you are not familiar, and it's funny because I almost want to say, like, if you're living under a rock, but that's kind of funny because that's almost the way Sandoval was looking at it, at it, which is
Literally, I
making Vanderpump, right? It's making the show much bigger than it actually is. It's big to us because we love the show, but
as if we live under our own rock. We live under the Vanderpump Rules rock.
my parents don't know these things. I mean, they know this because this is what I do now on the side, but when I asked them about the stuff going on, they're like, "Well, we don't know the story. We just know, like, little bits and pieces." And when my dad would be like, "Who's Tom Sandoval?" You know, like, it's not like they know this shit, and so that's just a perfect example. And my sisters don't know. I've been trying to convince my littlest sister to watch Vanderpump Rules
No, but
forever.
it's so true, like, it's such I feel like it is a niche in a way, like, in the sense of, like, okay, so your sister, the one that doesn't watch, I find that to be so funny because I just kind of assume everyone my age watches, and then I talk to other people and I'm like, "Oh, you know nothing about this." I literally sound crazy.
Yeah, and I always think people your age don't watch as much, but I guess they do.
Only because when I was graduating well, actually, yeah, when I was graduating high school, my first year of college, it came out.
Oh, okay,
So
okay,
I
that
was
makes
like, "Oh,
sense.
what's this? This is cool, like, I'm gonna be their age in a few years, like, what are they doing?" You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Not
yeah.
calling them role models in any capacity, I'm just saying, I was like, "I wonder if where my life will be when I'm their age," you know?
Yeah. We do make Vanderpump bigger than it is, but Tom Sandoval takes it to a whole other level. So he has this quote, one of just one quote from a very, very long New York Times Magazine article. So it says, I asked Sandoval why he thought the scandal got so big. And his response is, I'm not a pop culture historian, really, he said, But I witnessed the O.J. Simpson thing and George Floyd and all these big things, which is really weird to compare this to that, I think. But you think in a weird way it's a little bit the same? So then it's okay.
I'm rolling my eyes. I know you can't see me, but I'm just heavily my eyes are rolled.
That's the most ignorant statement, one of the most ignorant statements I've ever heard.
I just feel like this is a testament of, like, he truly does not think before he speaks. Like, if that could be anything, it's, like, highlighted here, you know?
He does not think before he speaks at all. And so then the next paragraph, which is a paragraph that has not gotten read many places or not gone viral along with the other paragraph, says, I looked over at Riley. And by the way, Riley is his crisis PR person who is 23 years old. And the author of this, she explains this in another part and says that she's 23 years old. I guess she's trying to explain to you why else would she tell you her age?
Right, like, again, nothing against anyone who is in their early 20s whatsoever. It's
Right.
just how much crisis has she actually even experienced, you know, let alone
Mhm.
managed? And
Yeah.
also, I'm curious, sorry, when I hear, like, you know, she's young, she's 23, like, how did he find her? How did she get hired? That's something
Right.
I think.
So, remember the way they hired in Schwartz and Sandy's and in Tom Tom? If they like
Yep,
somebody, they hired them. That's probably what happened.
that's
That's
the
what I
vibe.
think.
That's the vibe that it's giving off. Again, nothing against young awesome 20-year-olds that are, you know, entering the field and all that, amazing, but it's just like, this is Tom Sandoval. He needs
Yeah.
a seasoned PR crisis manager, you know?
He needs somebody who also can stand up to him, and I'm going to bet that he also chose somebody who did not stand up to him as much. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I just think he probably thought maybe thought, "Oh, she's younger, she's newer, I can have a little more control over things."
Valid point,
Okay.
because he's gonna choose somebody that's not gonna stand up to him because he wants it to go his way because he
Right.
knows.
And we know nothing about Riley, but I just think no matter who he's with also, he's not going to listen to because he tends to think that he knows better. But the author of the article says, I looked over at Riley, who was typing furiously on her phone. I think I knew what he meant. He was trying to express the oddity of becoming the symbolic center of a nationwide discussion and a major news story. What he communicated instead was something more honest, which is just how much the experience had made him lose perspective. So the interesting thing here is she knows what he meant, and I think this is what he's getting a lot of shit for it, but he's not getting as much shit for it as he could. I think one of the things is he's been on TV for so many years and on social media a lot, and people do know that civil rights are an important issue to him, and he's spoke about this a lot and he's posted about this a lot. So, he's lucky there, but
And he's
I
also been consistent with it too. It's not like it's just randomly happened. Again, what he said is ludicrous, but he has
ludicrous.
been he had it is, it's so ludicrous. I love that word. It's such a good word. I love that word so much.
Yeah, I like that word too.
Luda.
You like it
Um,
because of the rapper, right? Because that's why I like it. Is that why
I
you like it?
literally just said Luda. Yes.
Yeah. You can't say it without that.
But, you know, I'm just like throughout the years of watching him, I absolutely believe that at least in that capacity, he has shown where his core values are aligned in that regard, you know?
Yeah, that's his, like, only saving grace with us
Only,
because it's
yeah.
such a stupid statement. But anyway, the interesting thing that I did find out is this article, this happened November 28th. So, it was a 3 to 4 day interview process, and
Okay.
this was day 1. And right after he said it, allegedly, he had said, "Did that sound like I don't think that sounds right." And she was like, "No, I get what you meant." So they were surprised that it was in the article written in the way that it was presented. But Tom Sandoval should have thought and said, "You know what? I don't care. I'm realizing this is not a good thing to say. Let me just use Bill Clinton or Tiger Woods. Like, let me use Bill Clinton or Tiger Woods in this situation." That would have made so much more sense. But he doesn't, like we say, Daniel Tiger, stop. What does it say? Stop. What's the thing? Stop and think about it.
I
Is that
know,
the
but
saying?
it's this is a 42-year-old man.
41.
You get my point. I
No,
literally
I
want
know.
to
I'm laughing about the 41
yes.
because that's like the argument about Tom Sandoval forever.
Oh, I know. No, 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 no. I know. But, like, come on. Like, are we gonna have to do, like, a tea time with Daniel Tiger and Tom?
We do.
I think we
We do.
should.
So I honestly don't think I think he truly meant what he said. Oh, and then his apology, which I'll pull up his apology really quickly because we should talk about his apology. It was the least Tom-like apology, and honestly, I really feel like he was probably really upset over that. One of the few
Kicking
things I think can make
himself,
him really upset. What?
like kicking himself, kind of.
And I think his brain said, we talk he has, like, certain key things in his mind that he always sticks to, like Shawshank Redemption that he always brings up,
Wait,
Varsity
that's
Blues, like,
actually
what.
so funny too, because even during all of, like, the scandal, he always would talk about, like, the batteries that he had to buy and, like, that was, like, a
Yes.
running story. That is interesting, you're right, he kinda does stick to, like, one thing to kinda push.
He he uses examples rather than explaining the examples. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, very, like, blanketed statements.
With the battery situation, from what we're hearing from him now in the after show, it sounds like he's thinking he's taking care of all the bills and he's thinking he buys all this shit, even though he's not. Anna's buying it, but I think he's thinking it's his money and using it like that, but instead he's saying the stupidest thing, the batteries, the toilet paper.
Like, it's difficult to
Yeah.
understand him as a whole.
Right, so his apology, like you said, was better than his apology to Ariana, but he said, "My intentions behind the comments I made in New York Times Magazine were to explain the level of national media attention my affair received. The comparison was inappropriate and ignorant. I'm incredibly sorry and embarrassed." I don't know if his PR person wrote it or if he wrote it. Either way, it was a better apology. It was much better than he usually does, and I'm happy to have him make it short and to the point because once he starts opening up his mouth, you never do you hear the geese outside? What are geese doing at 10 o'clock PM?
No, I don't hear them, but that's so funny. I haven't heard of geese in so long since being on the West Coast, I kinda forgot that they existed.
Oh, we have geese all the time, but I never hear them at night. It's 10 PM and they're just hanging out outside like they're having a party. I mean, I guess it's a
Is it their
Friday.
season maybe? It is a Friday night, you're right. Tell them we're recording our podcast. Talk but I wanted to say, like, yes, I felt like his apology I'm also happy that he put an apology statement out, and I agree it was concise, it was to the point. When he talks more, it gets worse. So, I was,
Yeah,
you know, happy at least to see that he acknowledged what a mess up he made.
yeah. The name of it was, what was it again? You always remember the name, I always forget it.
How Tom Sandoval became the most hated man in America. I do, you're
How
right.
actually, the irony of that title, actually, with what we're talking about is kind of funny.
Yeah, right? It's almost tied in. It's almost poetic.
Yeah,
I have to say, because you did mention that it was where it happened in November, which was what, like a half a year later after Scandal? I did think that at that point, at least he would be more apologetic, and I just didn't it did not hit me. I finally read the whole article, by the way. I just feel like he wasn't as apologetic as I would have anticipated him to be. I just felt he was more explanatory than apologetic.
he's not apologetic, actually. I think that what happened with him is he with
What
Ariana,
happened with him? Tell me, please.
I think that he was unapologetic and then was apologetic for a little short period of time when he was, like, fully sober, his head was clear, he was back on track with, like, not just being a hot mess, and then he was okay, and then once he started drinking again, or once he started, like, hanging again, it all kinda went off the deep end, and then he's blaming her hardcore again and just deflect, deflect, deflect. Like, it's like a roller coaster. I think
Yes.
he just doesn't really want to apologize. I think he truly thinks he's not to blame, and it's the weirdest thing, but
Maybe he's truly, like, rationalized it enough where, yeah, he does
yeah.
not feel apologetic.
Okay, really quickly, Schwartz's article. Did you read Schwartz's or no? I can't remember.
No, you have to give me
Okay.
at least another day to read Schwartz's. I finally got through
Alright.
Tom's.
Yeah, that was long. So Schwartz's article, I'm not gonna read through it. I'm just gonna say some points. Like, one of the things he was saying is that I am Tom. I am not Tom Sandoval's sidekick. I am not Katie Maloney's ex-husband. I'm just
I
Tom. Like that.
literally was just about to be like the way you said, "I'm just Tom," was in the same sing-song rhythm.
It just makes me it just and when he was said it, I was like, I could just picture him, like, singing it, and I just want it to happen. I just wanna see somebody make a spoof of this, but I don't know how that's gonna happen. I just want it so bad. But and then he was talking about his family issues and how difficult those were, and it was super sad, like, to hear about his brother needing the new liver and hearing about his other brother who was sick, his dad who was sick, and getting divorced and all of that shit. I feel so much for him, and we'll talk about this more when we go through the episode, but he also made a lot of mistakes along the way. But the article, you could hear he explained that he's in so much of a better place now and he's like happy on life. And he said something about because the people he loves like are okay, he's able to look at everything better. And like I really relate to that and feel that. Like I can't be happy unfortunately, at all. Like, I have a really hard time with this. If anyone I love is in any sort of pain, it, like it just makes me not able to give a lot of
Yeah, I mean, I feel like your equilibrium is kind of thrown off. When you care in a way, like in a certain way, I feel like others' issues, heavinesses, it's kind of hard for it to not kind of funnel in, you know?
yeah, mhm, I think so. And so, yeah, Schwartz's article was good. Go look at that. That was by Rolling Stone magazine. It was interesting.
So, Watch What Happens Live, there was Jenna Dewan and Tom Schwartz. And I just need to say, Jenna looked phenomenal. And I didn't know she was pregnant until Andy mentioned it. Okay. I was
Yeah,
like, "She looks great. She looks phenomenal." And then he said that, and I was like, "Wait, what?" And I looked, and I was like, "Oh my god, I didn't even notice." She was glowing. I just have to say that.
she was so beautiful. I kept thinking that Schwartz is probably gonna be, like, having such baby fever after seeing her because she looks so pretty and he,
Glowing, literally an understatement. Also, he looked really good too. He was glowing himself.
he did look really good. Okay, so here's the little snippet of what he said on Watch What Happens Live.
Would you forgive your BFF
Yes.
for kissing your ex and keeping it a secret?
No.
I can and I do. Okay, thank you very much. Coming up,
Okay, so he says I can and I do, so I feel like I can share this now. Here's a spoiler alert. If you don't want to know anything about the season, don't listen to this if you did not figure this out from watching Schwartz on Watch What Happens Live. Okay, so some tea I had found out a while back, and he just said this on the show, is that Katie and Max had hooked up. So I think it was Kiss, but Max is Schwartz's best friend. This is weird to me. And Max, I think that might have been his like way to wiggle back on the show a little bit
Ooh,
because
interesting.
Schwartz says we're going to see it.
But also, I clearly am Patrick Star. I didn't realize that him and Schwartz were that good of friends. I like never see them together. I didn't know this.
Yeah, no, they are. I think Max is a
Literally straight
controversial
up, I
figure
don't
in
even know
general.
who is Max. Like I'm being so serious right
Oh,
now.
Max from season 8.
Oh, the that bartender guy?
Max Boyens, I don't know. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's cute, obviously. He was with Dana, and Dana's
Oh,
good
that is
friends with
so not my
Katie.
type at all, but okay. But wait, okay, him and Schwartz are friends?
Yes. Oh, did you think I meant Max Lisa's
Yes.
son?
That's
No.
why I was like, "What?" But
No.
also, I've never I feel like I never have seen him out before, so I'm like, "Wait, what?" But okay, I did think you were talking about Lisa's son for, like, a very quick second.
Yeah, no, Max is with them a lot, I think. I feel like it's pretty fucked up that Max hooked up with Katie.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
it's fucked up to Schwartz.
unless did they talk about it? Was it just for the show? Or no, we feel like Schwartz was really upset
I
by
think it actually happened, but my thought
it.
process is it probably happened so Max could pull his way onto the show again because it was during filming and it's going to be based off of what he said on the show. And I actually think Andy asked him the question on the show yesterday because he wanted to like spark some interest in something else that was coming up because people keep saying how heavy everything is, what like we were talking about before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heavy's one word, yeah.
So maybe it will lighten up a little bit. I mean, if we're having hookups between, Tori Keith, Max Boyens, I don't know if that's how you say his name, but it should be interesting then when we get to that.
Every time I hear his last name,
So,
I think of Chef Boyardee.
Chef Boyardee. So I can confirm that I had a source who I consider to be a good source tell me that information. I feel like I'm sharing a lot of little bits, which is
Yeah,
kind of
you were like,
fun.
"Yeah, I'm gonna share some tea." You, like, spilled a whole tea kettle on me.
Well, he said it on Watch What Happens Live. Maybe I should give a spoiler. I'm going to add this. I'll move that to the beginning.
Okay.
Okay, so let's get into it. Episode 4. And quickly, we want to give a trigger warning for S or SI. We're going to be talking about things related to those topics. So if you have a difficult time with that, you might want to skip ahead certain sections, including this one. So the first scene we see is Lisa talking again to Sheena and Lala. And I say again because we already got the preview of this episode and we had seen that, but we get a lot more of it. And it was much more, I guess, difficult and heavy than I even expected it going. Would you say you feel the same?
Yeah, no, and I mean, like you said, this season, the word is like heaviness. I'm like, it's emotional too. I am so emo watching this season.
So I want to say in my Insta stories, I asked the question, I said, what do you think of Lisa's conversation with Lala and Sheena? And I got a lot of responses right away, which thank you guys. I love when they do that. It's like the best. But I was so interested to see how many different responses I got to that. It was so mixed. A lot of people were saying manipulative. People were saying that they really were sympathetic towards Lisa and understood Lisa. They were saying that they felt like it was just set up for the show. Just a couple people said that. They were saying that they see right through the BS. They were saying that Lisa just wants to help and that's really her intention, is just to help, and she feels for him because of her brother. But a lot of people also thought that Sandoval was the one who manipulated Lisa, which is what we talked about on the last podcast, how people were feeling that way.
Yeah, no, I was shocked because people in the comments, it was very polarizing, I would say. And I think the last thing you had asked me was like, how did you feel about that? And I just kind of
Yes.
said, like, I don't feel like it's fair for Lisa to put it on them in that way.
I was really surprised at the emotion between Lala and Sheena, and how, if you look at the audience or if you look at the comments, even the DMs, the poll question, people didn't really feel that. But when I'm looking at Sheena, I'm feeling so much of what I think she's feeling and experiencing. Like I'm taking in so much, and I see such a difference in Sheena. But people aren't feeling that. Like I find it so interesting that other people aren't feeling the same thing I am when I watch her. I just see a completely different demeanor about her, and her energy is so different. And then I thought it was so cute the way the two of them were like holding each other's leg or hand when one of them was upset, like taking turns of being upset basically. I really like the dynamic between Lala and Sheena. And I think Sheena has always struggled to find somebody who's like her real best friend, or that she feels is her best friend. And I thought it was nice like to have the two of them. I feel like they really have each other.
Yeah, and I feel like we've seen such a difference in their friendship, like a growth in their friendship, 1,000%. And I mean, I agree with you. Again, though, we've discussed we are both hypersensitive, maybe. So, I did have a live last night, and a lot of people were just saying, like, oh, of course, she has to make it about herself and things like that when Sheena was crying. But I was tearing up because if you care in a certain way, like, or deeply enough, it really is difficult. When Lisa posed the question to Sheena and said, you've known him for this amount of time and you guys had a real friendship. Yes. Like, doesn't that make it a little easier then to forgive? I do
Mhm.
kind of understand that. I do.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm so surprised. I'm so surprised by their response to it. I don't know where there's such a perception of Lisa. I agree. I think Lisa will do like a lot for the show. I shouldn't say anything, but a lot for the show and to make the show better and all of that. But I think Lisa has good intentions in her heart for her. I'm gonna call them kids because in a way they're like kids to her. But I really do. And when she says to be there for Sandoval, I don't think it's just to have Sandoval on the show. I know people think that like the network is trying to make Sandoval look a certain way. I think that's just what happened. Not I think. That is just what happened. I keep seeing people say they're editing it to make you feel bad for him. But here's the truth. I was watching all those freaking Amazon lives all summer, all year, the whole time they were filming. Okay, listening to the podcast, watching all of those lives, they kept saying how weird it was, how heavy it was. It's dark, it's this, whatever. And over and over and over again, I don't think they're making it look a certain way. I think it's just the way it is. And as somebody who, I mean, I don't have experience in podcast editing right now, but I do have some experience in editing. You absolutely can change the perception of everything. It can make a huge difference. But this footage is real footage. Like, this is what happened. And
1000%.
I don't know why people aren't believing that. I don't know why they're not, but like, I keep trying to think what's making them not want to believe that.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can think of is that there's some people that really truly have a deep hate towards him because of their own personal experiences, maybe with getting cheated on. So I feel like for that reason, that's why so many people are like, they're editing it to make it look like a certain way. But like, I agree with you. The whole time, they did tell us it's not anything like you've ever seen before. And
Mhm.
they, I feel like they alluded to the fact that it was going to be emotional. And I also think that's why, when that article came out about fans are going to maybe change their views of Ariana. Like maybe this is why people thought that. But I mean,
Mhm.
personally, for me, this, all of what we've found out so far is definitely not changing my view towards Ariana just because he's going through that. That did not change my views towards Ariana at all.
It did not change my views either. And it's like, I think it was posed in the episode, or was it an after show where the watch what happens? I don't remember when it was, but it was like, can you be, well, I guess Sheena kind of said it too, right? Can you be Team Ariana and root the most for Ariana while still having empathy for Tom Sandoval? And to me, the answer is, of course. Of
Yes,
course you
always.
can.
But that's what I was saying before, being able to compartmentalize. If you're able to
Yeah.
compartmentalize him as a person, you're able to say, okay, what you did was horrendous. I still feel for you in the sense of, I don't want you to do something you may regret, you know?
Mhm. Mhm. Listen, Ariana's best friends in real life, okay? Those people 100% should be completely the way I am is I would be completely loyal to my true best friend, and I'd be like, "F you" to the guy that did it to her, right? And so that's how I see her closest friends being, and, her friend Brad,
Mhm.
definitely.
Yes, yeah,
Her
yeah, yeah.
friend Meredith, absolutely, that's her friend from home. Logan, but although Logan also works at TomTom, so it's a little different. I'm sure it's actually really hard for Logan when you think about it, working at TomTom.
That must be difficult, yes.
That must be really strange. But they're 100%. But then you have somebody like Sheena, and Sheena was freaking friends with him first. And honestly, I'm getting the impression that she was almost saying on the after show, like she's been closer to Sandoval than Ariana.
That
And
same here, yes.
that's what you're getting to?
That's the impression that I was left with as well when she is talking about her and Sandoval's friendship, yeah.
But she's so afraid to say it because she knows what the public does with that, right?
And also, I feel like, the I can't even believe I'm about to use this word, the
What?
optics of it, because I feel like that's what Schwartz always says, well, the optics, the optics. But I feel like the optics of that, she knows people will not have anything nice to say
She's
towards her. How
right.
could you do that? That's your best friend. But in the same breath, they were also friends too.
Yeah, she's
It's a
right.
sticky situation.
Oh gosh, I don't
I
know.
would not wanna be her, if that makes sense. I would not wanna be her involved with Scandoval because I don't know how I would go about it. I really don't.
I would not wanna be her either. And Lala's in a different position because Lala wasn't as close with Ariana. And I don't know, I just felt, and even that pool float scene, people were not feeling Sheena, and I'm just, like, seeing her behind her glasses, which, by the way,
Wait,
when
what do
I
you mean? I'm confused. In the pool? What
in the
didn't they
pool,
like?
I'm talking about, yeah, I'm skipping ahead a little bit. In the
No,
pool,
you said that they didn't like something that Sheena did?
well, people weren't feeling, a few people were feeling more for Sheena, so I asked that question on my stories also, "Have your feelings towards Sheena changed after viewing that?" And some people were saying, "Yes, it has to be so hard for Sheena, I have to have empathy." A few people were saying that they did change their feelings, but the majority of people were like, "No, definitely not. Manipulation." I do agree with Ariana that Sandoval is not the same as Lisa's brother, and Sandoval feels differently. and Sandoval thinks about himself, and Sandoval wasn't there for Sheena with the TRO. I get all that, but that doesn't mean that Sheena is still not going to have feelings and feel bad, because even though Sandoval can act like an ass, Sheena might not.
Yeah, and I was just about to say, it's like, when somebody says, "Just because you did me wrong doesn't mean I'm gonna do you wrong." And I just feel like that's Sheena in a
Yes.
way, you know? You're not gonna take me out of my character, and I don't know, I mean, I definitely do obviously I have empathy towards Sheena in the same way that and now I'm forgetting who said it in regards to, like, can you still be Team Ariana but have empathy for Tom?
Mhm.
I do feel the same way in regards to Sheena. Like, can we totally understand that Sheena's involvement with Scandoval could be seen in one way as like, it's not about you, Sheena? Sure, right? But in the same breath, I'm compartmentalizing and I'm looking at her like, you are a person who had a friendship with somebody. And I do think that and I don't know this to be true or not, but I feel she's hypersensitive. So I totally could relate to her struggling through this. She
Yeah,
probably feels very deeply for her friends. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
I think that that's been shown. Clearly, she really cares about her friends. I don't know.
right.
I do see I see all angles. I do. I see all angles.
Why are people saying it's not about Sheena? It's just because of her past shit? Because trust me, I get it. In the past, it's very much been about Sheena in many situations.
Well, I also think people are really frustrated with Sheena for how she treated Katie last season, and maybe they're
Ugh.
or I don't want to say using, but maybe they're carrying that energy with them through to this season, and they're like, okay,
Okay.
now you're gonna bring yourself into scandal. Like it's not about you. You did dirty work last season. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Okay, so that's a great point, because when I look at this season, I was actually thinking about that just last night. That when I look at this season, I always look at everything as like a fresh, open mind, but I carry stuff in the past. Like, when you're in grade school, like you're going to middle school and you're like, this is a new year. It's September. I'm starting new
Yes.
again. I'm gonna be cool. Like, this is me this year. I'm having all my cool clothes from Limited Too, right? Like, you're starting
I
fresh.
got
You
the
have the
gold
cool backpack.
layers, get my earrings, yes.
And, like, especially if you go to brand new school, nobody knows you, if you're, like, changing to the middle school. It was just, like, a fresh start and, like, a new you and exciting, and I look at each season as that, like, kind of I'm like, "Okay, this is, like, a new start. I'm gonna take what they did in the past, but I'm gonna look at them new because it's a new year, and it's, like, a literally new year." So, I do look at it that way, and I did not like Sheena at all last season. I couldn't stand Sheena last season. It's probably the only season I couldn't stand Sheena. Every other season I appreciated her, and last season I was so annoyed at her for
Oh,
Katie.
same. I agree. Like, even, her season with, like, Rob and everything, I still was like, I don't
Oh,
know, I totally get it. I feel like, she loves really hard, she can hate really hard. I feel like I could understand that about her, but, like, last season, I was actually really frustrated with her because I couldn't understand why she was doing what she was doing.
it
I
was
always
so
feel like
weird.
I've been able to understand her. Last season, though, I really couldn't make sense of her. I didn't get it.
Yeah. Sheena with Rob, I'm sorry, was the funniest, most annoying
Thank
thing I've ever
you.
seen. Like, it was prime TV. It
They
is
were
so
such good
fucking
TV.
funny. She builds things up a lot. She builds things up a lot.
I could see that though. I do try to watch each season though as best I can with like a fresh look on everything. So I
Mhm.
haven't really been like holding on to that myself, but I don't know, when I read the comments I do see people are still talking about that. Look what she did to Katie last year. They're still holding on to it. So if they're carrying that energy in this season, then yeah, she's bound to get, I feel like, a lot of hate.
Um, Now speaking of Ariana in the pool, like, I completely understand Ariana's perspective, and we said this a little bit before, but man, the people who are coming at Ariana, it's people coming at Sheena, and then some people coming at Ariana. Most of it's I'm lucky. I don't, and I think you're lucky in the same way. My page is people who are really team Ariana and love her. So it's very positive towards her. But when I look at other pages and a few of my comments, like on my story about it, people are starting to go against her because they think she's being too mean, that she's not being fair. But it's like we can separate it. Let her feel like she wants to feel. We talked about this last time. We would be feeling the same
It
way.
just happened. I'm sorry, but 3 months is a blink. That's a nap. That just happened.
It just happened. And
Her
just give her
reaction is so
grace.
appropriate.
And they don't like, give Ariana grace and give Sheena grace. Honestly, and I want grace for like all. Is that my problem? Because I'm like, and give Lala grace. But
No, I
also
know,
give
same.
George grace. And give
I
Sandoval
feel like
I don't know if I wanna give Sandoval grace. I don't even wanna say I would give Sandoval grace. I'm just more like,
no, I wanna
let's
give
think
Sandoval an interview. That's what I wanna give Sandoval. I don't know about Grace right now, but I absolutely agree with you, and I feel like you and I are similar in that. If we could be Oprah and be like, "You get Grace, you get Grace, you," that's fair to say.
Alright, you wanna go to a funner topic?
Please, 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 yes.
Nobody's gonna think this is a more fun topic, by the way, nobody. Billy Lee watching Sandoval in the ice bath.
Did I send you that meme? Did I send you the meme?
Which one?
It's of her look here. I'm gonna
Okay,
send it to you again because
okay,
you will laugh, and it's a great. It's relatable at least, or it was the impression I had when I was watching the scene between
okay.
Billy
Oh,
and
yay. You did said it. It's Billy Lee wa so fu Billy Lee watching it, and it says, "My kid is showing me his new bath tricks."
and her mouth is open, and she's just like,
Oh my
"Oh my
god.
goodness."
Listen, so overly fucking dramatic. I watched him on and you did too, on Special Forces, right? And
Yes, oh my goodness, yes.
we were laughing at him there because he's so dramatic, but I was like, I feel for him right now. I know, I know everyone hates him. And I'm like, let me try to be like open minded, but it like literally would laugh aloud every episode because he's so fucking dramatic. That bath was so dramatic. I'm so annoyed because I thought in the trailer that when they showed this clip of him like putting his hair up with the water, that it meant like he was gonna go through some kind of like crazy meditative type experience where he was gonna get like baptized or something. I'm like, what is he
Me
doing? What is this
too.
dramatic? And then it's Billy Lee watching him in an ice bath.
In an ice bath, okay? And also, like, remember she was like, "What level are you at?" Like, if you could, like, number it.
Yeah. What level? And he says a 9.
Like, my God, you did special force. That to me is a
Listen,
9.
if I can give birth and tell the nurse that I'm at a 6, you have no right to say 9. I was at a 6 and the nurse was like, "Oh, honey, you're more than a 6." And I was like, "I feel like it's a 6." He says 9? Have you ever done an ice bath? I've never done one, but I've stuck my head in ice. Have you ever done an ice bath?
No, I did the ice bucket challenge.
Oh, me too, yeah. That was a good one.
But no, I've never done an ice bath. I have heard though that ice baths are like awesome for like homeostasis and just like mind, body, soul type of thing.
They show them on the show a lot. Like Brock has gone in them, James, Schwartz, they show them on the challenge. Never in my life have I seen somebody react to an ice bath the way Tom Sandoval reacted to that ice bath.
1000%. Okay. Like, I'm sorry, that was performative. It was so
And then
dramatic.
okay, and Billy Lee, I have to say, you know, I I appreciate that she is a friend to him, and I do think that she is a really good friend to him, I think, and I think they have a nice relationship. I know he had posted for her birthday too, and he put, like, a bunch of pics up and stuff like that, and I think that he is lucky to have her as a friend, even though I don't like a lot of things that she's done. I don't like what she has said about, like, with Ariana in the house and then doing her own ads in their freaking house, but Ariana's not allowed to do ads in their house, and it's not Billy Lee's house, but, um, I think I think she looks in love with him.
Yeah. She looks, I would absolutely, that would be one of the adjectives, I guess. She looks like so enchanted by him.
Enchanted.
She does. She looks at him like with enchantment, I feel like. Kind of like a high
Yeah.
school crush, kind of.
Ah, yes. Yes.
I'm just
Yes.
thinking about my high school crush, and I definitely looked at him with those same eyes. That's why I'm like, I was enchanted.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah,
But yeah,
that's
that scene had to be spoken about because it was put in there for a reason and it was very dramatic.
it was very dramatic. Oh my gosh.
Speaking of dramatic, though, I mean, I don't know if you just want to flip flop, but like the way that Joe picked up Schwartz off the ground was also dramatic.
So so dramatic.
I've never seen that, or I haven't seen that, or I didn't know I was about to see that.
Yeah. I think Joe was super nervous. I feel for Joe. Her posts are so I know people what do they call her? Do
I
they
just
call
feel
her
like she's
Crazy
quirky.
Joe?
I know, they call her Crazy Joe, and that I
Is
think
it
that's so
Crazy Joe or
funny.
is it something else?
No, like Crazy Eyes Joe, I think, right?
I don't know. I think yeah, but and we talked this last night, like, I always looked at Joe as, like, Miss Nanny, like, I don't know why I could not see her face forever. Every time she was behind the scenes or in any pictures, like, it's like, "Where's her face? Where's her face?" It was like Miss Nanny from the Muppet Babies. I did not know if she even had a face, and then when they finally when I finally saw her face actually on her Instagram stories, I think it was last year, I was like, "Oh gosh, she's so pretty." She's actually a very pretty girl, but I'm like, "Who is this girl?" Like, the way they had described her in the past, I mean, I don't know, but she's just so interesting. What did you say about her with Schwartz?
I mean, okay, also, I agree. I think she's so beautiful, and I also just think she's so quirky. And I think that her and Schwartz are so quirky together. They're like a little quirk pod.
Yeah, they're like the same person pretty much, right?
Yeah, I feel like it's like guy and girl version of Schwartz.
Yeah, very similar energy, and I don't know why I feel like her voice sounds so much like Lala when she was talking, like, "Why do I hear Lala?" It's like I hear Lala, but I see, like, Schwartz's actions. But I feel like she was so nervous to do that scene, like, the way she was asking questions and stuff. Because you were like, "Why what did you say? Why did she ask that question? What was the question?" I don't remember.
No, because I was just like, okay, also, I don't really know much about Joe other than what I had seen online. So I was just like, okay, it was interesting how she was like participating in the conversation. Like me personally speaking, I would have been like, this is an AB. I'm going to see my way out. But you could tell she was nervous. And they had said something about like Lala. It was because Schwartz and Lala had that conversation at James's pool party. And she was like, oh, finally, good. And I was just like,
Oh,
wait,
yeah.
how do you know? How are you able to say finally? Like, not in a mean way, but who are you to say finally? You know what I mean? Like, I want to understand like the nature of your relationship with like the women on the show, you know?
Yeah, I don't think she has really I think she whatever she's getting is from Tom and
Right.
Tom
So that's why I was like, can we really say finally? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I think she was just interjecting.
Who knows? Maybe production said to her, hey, if you can talk a little bit while they're talking, you know what I mean? Like join the conversation.
Right, she was there to film, so she knew she needed to say something, exactly. So, if you heard the last podcast, my favorite person on Vanderpump Rules, even though Ariana is right there at the top, Katie, I don't know, I love Katie, and I know people always call Katie a mean girl. I don't think she's a mean girl, but I will say I don't like the whole Crazy Joe or whatever it is that Kristen put out there, and I know Katie was calling her, which I don't blame Katie though, maybe I guess because it's her ex that was with her for a bit, but I feel like when you label someone with a name like that, and then everybody just jumps on that bandwagon and holds her to that name without even getting to know her. Like nobody even knows her, and she's already established as Crazy Joe. It's not Crazy Joe. Let me look it up. I don't think it's Crazy Joe. You think it is?
I thought it had crazy in there, but the point you're making, I agree with it.
Did you say Crazy Eye Joe because of Cotton Eye Joe?
No, I just thought that there was a picture circulating where she looked like she had crazy eyes or something. I don't know. Cotton
Oh.
Eye Joe. No.
I just said Crazy Eyes Joe and I got Cotton Eye Joe.
Wait, is Cotton Eye Joe Irish?
I'm hearing
No.
Amazon with the power of AI.
What?
With
That's a weird version. No, Crazy Eyed Joe, I can't find Crazy Joe.
Hold on, I'm looking up
Crazy
too.
Joe Vanderpump. Nobody
Yeah,
even came to
Crazy Joe.
You see it?
Is her last name Wenberg?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's in quotes crazy. Hold on, I'll send this to you.
Oh yeah, here it is, Crazy Joe. So mean. It's mean.
And also, like,
It's
that
just mean.
word is not cool to be labeled with without even giving her a chance, you know?
I
Like, let us
agree.
decide if she's crazy.
I agree. Katie could be my favorite and I could still say I just don't like calling her Crazy Joe. I could never do it. I just couldn't do it. Oh, look, a new article just popped up as I'm doing this. Tom
What?
Sandoval, Ariana owes me 90,000 cash. Wants cash before sale of house. Told ya.
Shut up. Oh my
I
wait,
told ya.
so
Literally, I swear to God, I had no inside tea on that before coming on here. Literally, I had
Tom
learned that a
Sandoval.
long time ago.
Wow.
According to new legal docs obtained by TMZ, Tom alleges he loaned Ariana $90,000 that she hasn't paid him back. Um, More importantly, Tom wants Ariana to forego with the dough before a judge potentially orders them to sell the house and split the proceeds. I mean, that makes sense, but I thought she did pay him back. By the way, I heard she did pay him back, or she was working on paying him back. Oh, that's what it was. She's paid him back, I think, 6 months worth, so maybe she owes him 9 months now. So what's 9 plus 6? It's 15, but that's 2 years. Yep.
Oh my god. That's
What?
crazy.
Yeah, but that's 2 years worth.
No, but that's crazy though, and that's also probably why she also has been working so much too, because she probably wants to pay him the fuck back so can just get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I just want to take a quick break to give a shout out to the person who made our beautiful artwork for the podcast. Her name is Draw Me Bitch. You can find her on Instagram and TikTok. She also has her website, drawmebitch.com, where she sells amazing, amazing artwork if you are a Bravo lover, especially. She has Scandal coloring books. She has Housewives coloring books. She has magnets, stickers. Go check her out. She's an incredible artist and an incredible person, and we're so thankful for her. We love you, Draw Me Bitch. Thank you for doing this podcast art for us. You are the best. Now back to the podcast. Okay, so we're back from the break and we were talking about Joe before and got distracted with the article, but you wanted to say something about Schwartz.
Like Joe's quirky, but Schwartz is also so quirky too. And like even at James's pool party between Schwartz and Lala, I felt like he was so nervous at the beginning of that, and then he kind of eased into the conversation, and it ended up being such a beautiful. I felt it was like such a beautiful conversation between the both of them. What did you
Yeah,
think?
it was a really good conversation. I think it was very open and honest, and Lala's in a very different spot. Like, I know Schwartz kept saying softer and all that, and it was an interesting, unexpected conversation, I felt.
There's just been so much growth, I feel like, for both of them individually that they were able to have that conversation.
Yeah. I'm not feeling so good though about so I love the way Lala is being more open to understanding like the mental health situation with Schwartz and the mental health situation with Sandoval. But I just don't know if she's giving as much to Ariana now. Do you feel like this is so not what we were just talking about? This is just my brain. Do, do you feel like Ariana they're not showing enough of Ariana's sadness and vulnerability, and they're only showing Ariana's
Like
anger?
responses to things, and maybe that's why people were saying like we're going to see her differently. I don't know, because they
Uh,
are showing her in like fired up moments. It's like they showed her with Anne in the kitchen. Can Sandoval have a party here? They're showing her when Sheena's like, "Hey, Lisa just dropped this really heavy load on me." You know what I mean? So it's
yeah,
like we are, and especially I think it was either last week or the week before when they're at I think Sir, and she is talking to Schwartz, and she's like, "I gave up on you a long time." Like we're just seeing those types of conversations,
yeah. Why aren't we seeing I mean, maybe she didn't wanna give that, or maybe they're just not excuse
or
me.
maybe it's coming up
Maybe it's coming up?
where we see her. I don't want to say have like a breakdown, but like see her become super vulnerable about
Oh,
what.
yeah, I have a behind the scenes of that. She
Oh my
cried.
god, when you gasp like that.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I know. Do you think the I'm sorry, I forget about that.
I'm always like, what's gonna happen?
I do it all the time. I do it all the time. She cries at, they go to a bar, and I think it's after the beach day, but I'm not positive, and I had some, like, behind the scenes tea from people who were actually there, and they said that she goes and we do see it in a preview a little bit too, but they said they were in the bathroom and she was crying, and she was talking to Lala, and we don't know what she was crying about, but So we are gonna see her be vulnerable. It's good that you said that. I
Okay, so
forgot
it's
about
gonna
that.
be coming up then. So maybe that's why. Maybe it's just
Oh, sorry, I did it again. I wonder oops. I
twice
wonder
in under a minute. Also, when you said oops, I was like, oops, I
Oh, I did it
Oh my
again. Hold
god,
on.
you're 3 for
Wait, I have to give a shout out to one of our friends. Um, Ariana was wearing glorified gossip girl, who I love, Peyton, on Instagram. She's on TikTok also. Go build her page on TikTok, please. But she's on Instagram and she is a workaholic. And she also has a business called Glorified Vintage Girl.
Yes, I love glorified gossip girl.
And Ariana orders from her also. And Ariana posted a picture on her stories of her in a Britney shirt that Peyton had done for her, a
Oh,
distressed
I love
Britney shirt.
that.
And it looks like she's in her Roxy makeup. It's just so cool. I was just so excited to see it. And they've posted her before, but I just love when people do that. Like I love what Ariana is so good at supporting people and highlighting different accounts and small creators and shops and oh my god, just another reason why I love her. Like she is so down to earth with all that shit and she wrote thank you to her. Like it's just such a cute little post. I was so excited for Peyton.
Yeah, like, she
Um
doesn't let the fame get to her head in that way, you know what I mean? Like, she's like, "Oh my god, love this. Thank you so much."
yeah,
Very
she doesn't.
humble.
She doesn't let it get to her head. And yeah, check out this is not any this again is just us supporting our friends, but she's glorified vintage girl and her website is I think it's distressedout.myshopify.com, but you could just get the link to her website on her profile, but it's really cool. I love it. All right. Anyway, back on topic. We were talking about Ariana being vulnerable and yeah, that is going to be coming up. Maybe that'll help people who are being harsh on Ariana.
I mean, do you get a lot of people that are being super harsh on Ariana, though?
No, my page is like
Okay.
95% team Ariana.
Okay, no, same here. I mean, I do get little stragglers here and there that are like, "Get over it. Oh my god, can't stand her," but I would say it's like 90-10.
Mhm.
90 being the people that are supporting her, totally understand where she's coming from. So, I really hope that, we are able to see a little part of the vulnerability. I think that will help to tie in everything else that's going on this season. That was it.
Okay, so back to Schwartz and Lala. Um, I I think I'm one of the only people who felt some kind of weird sexual tension between them, and I don't know what it was. It was like a 5% or even less feeling of sexual tension there. And I know it was like just the comments about the lips and it wasn't real, but something about them, it felt I don't know why I felt that. You didn't feel that, right? Or did you?
No, I did not. I got platonic energy. I did not get any
Yeah,
sexual tension.
he said platonic, but I don't know what it was. I don't know.
Did he set the scene for me then by saying it was platonic? So then I was led to believe it was platonic and you picked something I don't know.
Maybe guys, if you're listening and anybody thought the same thing as me, please message us at Down to Reality Pod on Instagram. TikTok is fine, but Instagram messaging is so much better. TikTok videos are better, Instagram messaging is better. But I need to know, did anybody else feel this? Because it was just me from the people I talked to, which was a decent amount of people. I don't know why I felt that. I don't know what's wrong with me.
No,
It's
but
weird.
let's see. Let's see if anybody else is like, oh yes, 1,000%. Only because I'm like, I didn't, but I also feel like I was led into that conversation because he did say it was platonic. And then I got like a
Yeah.
very warm, fuzzy platonic feeling, you know?
Yeah, I'm telling you, when I'm saying it, I mean, like, literally, like, the smallest percent, like, a 3 I'm gonna say a 3% feeling of sexual tension.
A little ST, a little ST, a
Yeah.
dash of it.
But anyway, nothing to do with the important parts of that combo. James was
We
flying
were
all over the place, drinking weed drink, and you had to explain what weed drink is to me.
yes, you are so sweet. But yes, he was drinking a THC beverage. Yes, he was.
And,
Um, and he was jumping off of the roof of his house like a 5-year-old.
oh my god, like, how old am I? I was so afraid that they were gonna get hurt.
Oh, I was like, I would so do that. That looked like so much fun.
Oh, you were? Okay. I was like, "Please don't
Only
fall
because
on the
of
cement."
where the, like, roof was in relation to the pool, I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's, like, safe enough."
Okay. I'm a really bad jumper, like, there's something wrong with me that I can't jump, like, have you ever had a dream and you're running in the dream and you try to run and you can't run, like, you're running and you're like Phoebe Buffay, but slow like, you can't run? Have you ever had that type of dream?
Yeah, just like how you can never dial, like, 911, it's like everything that should be working just never works right, yeah.
Oh, I've never had the 911 one.
Oh, yeah, I'll, like, grab far and few between, but I'll go to grab my phone and, like, I just can't dial 911, like, I see the number, like, I can't do it, you know?
Oh, weird. Yes, so when I was watching them, I'm like, "Are you gonna jump far enough?" Because me, I always think it's gonna be like in the dream, like, where I can't jump. Like, when I watch The Bachelor and they jump off the cliffs, I'm like, I would jump up 2 inches, and then it would be a big problem. So,
Right?
I was so afraid when they were doing that. That's funny that you were like, "Ooh, I'd love to do it." I used to dream of that, like, when I was a kid and we had a pool in my backyard, I used to be like, "Can I please go on the deck and jump into the pool?"
You know what it is? I think because when I was younger, when I used to go to people's houses that had that option, I was never allowed to do that because my mother would be like, "Absolutely not." And I would be like,
Yeah.
"Okay, I'll jump off the diving board."
Yeah. Yeah, no. He's like a little kid, you know? And then he
Yes.
with the butter, with the corn, the butter what was he
Yes.
doing? He's, like, buttering the corn. Alright, so anyway, the conversation with Schwartz and Lala, that was good, and then speaking of James with Graham,
Mhm.
that scene, there's a lot of talk about this scene. This is a very sweet scene, but also very confusing scene for people. Now, you said you hadn't seen the behind the scenes. You hadn't seen those on my TikTok or other people's TikToks in the summer?
You mean the behind the scenes of when they're, like, in Lake Tahoe with the dog with Graham, with his
Yeah, when they
dog?
get Graham?
Yes. No, I have seen those.
You have seen those, okay. So, did you also assume that that's when he was seeing Graham for the first time?
Yes, but then when I saw the episode, no. Does that make
Okay.
sense? Like, I kind of forgot that I had seen that at a different time when then it was filmed.
Okay. So, I posted on our pod page, our TikTok and Instagram, a video of Sheena from last summer also doing an Amazon Live where she was talking about how they saw Graham for the first time, and it was like this big thing. They were shocked that it was Graham. And so people are thinking that this was a fake scene. And Rachel on her podcast was saying that she was so upset because, like, if she had come back to filming, and this is true, by the way, because this was something that I had found out a long time ago, that she was going to come back for the first week, probably at Lake Tahoe. But if she had come back and it was going to be Lake Tahoe, she thought Lisa Vanderpump was setting her up for failure or for embarrassment by bringing Graham to James in front of everybody and her for the first time in Lake Tahoe.
I
And so
know,
she
but
made this big stink about it on her podcast.
like, that scene to me was not at all fake.
Okay,
Or
because
it's
a lot of people think it's a pickup scene. Because what were you saying? Tell me why you don't think it's fake. So the emotion.
no, because I could see that, though. I could see it being a pickup scene, but I'm sorry, like, I don't think James was performing there. He genuinely looked shocked when he was like, "What is this? I thought you were gonna talk to me about Sandoval." Like, that
Yeah.
seemed real. That seemed raw and real.
Yeah. I felt like he had some kind of weird heads up about something, but yes, it did seem really real.
But I felt
Unless
like it
he
was the
was
direction of, like, a heads up, you're gonna have a talk with Lisa, and then, like, don't forget the girls had been telling him their conversations with Lisa, so I could just see him getting steered into that direction and then actually being, like, the rug ripped up, like, out from underneath him. That's the
right.
impression it gave me. I was just like and then, obviously, when you and I spoke, I was like, "Oh, but that timeline, you're right."
Unless he was just able to access the emotions, like, that he had experienced, kind of like on the traders when they try to pretend they're faithful in their head, like, to access those
Yeah,
feelings.
I know. Yeah, I don't know, is he capable of that? Maybe.
I'm not sure if he's capable of that. I don't it felt really real to me too. So, the situation is either probably one or the other. It's either one is a pickup scene, and Lisa heard Rachel say this on her podcast, of course, it was all over the place, and did not want that to be the time that they met Graham on the show because then Rachel would be right and it would make Lisa look worse. Or
Did you hear what Lisa said in response to, like, Rachel saying that?
No, what did
Can
she
I
say?
please play it for you, Ops? I kind of want to play it for you to hear
When
your
was this?
like 5 days ago, last
Oh,
week.
5 days ago?
Yeah.
No, I didn't hear
Can I
it.
play it for you, please?
Of course you could
You're
play it.
gonna die. I really think you're gonna die because my mouth dropped. Hold on, you ready? You ready? Here. She
Rachel is done.
literally mad like a goat. Lisa Vanderpump mad
Yeah.
like a goat.
We just listened to we don't know if we're allowed to play this on the pod, we're gonna find out about that for the future, but Em just played what Lisa did, and we'll put it on our page so that they can see that. Maybe you could do that tonight.
I
Um
actually that's so funny. I already have it ready.
oh, perfect. So, she meant like a goat, she calls Rachel, Raquel, rah, rah,
What?
whatever, and she said, "Rach." Oh, well, what do I have to say to that? I have to say I thought she was Ariana's friend or something, and she
And the
explained
face
that
that she made too. Like if you can watch the video because she is on 100. I've never seen LVP. I haven't seen her like this in a long time.
I'm gonna tell you why. It's just like I said with Kristen last week. It's because Rachel is like a Kristen to her. Rachel is going against LVP and is not submissive to LVP right now. Is talking bad about LVP. So LVP goes hard when that happens. She likes, and people always say she favors the boys more than the girls. The boys idolize her a little more than the girls. And she likes that. I think she likes to have people who look up to her. I'm not saying that's a necessarily terrible thing. I just think it could be somewhat harmful. Um, but I think she's done with Rachel, just like how she's done with Kristen.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, am I scared of LVP in this moment right now? I don't know. But I'm trying to think of like Puppygate, and I remember her being pretty frustrated then. But the
Yeah,
way that she like responded, yeah, she was on 100 in my opinion. I was like,
yeah.
okay, you came in
So
hot.
she said we're gonna see how it transpires. So whatever it is, it's either she wanted to make it look like that's not how it happened, and so she did a pickup scene, or B, which is what I actually do think happened because of a slight inside tea I have from a very kind follower who sent me pictures and messages about this, who was actually there when it happened. And that's that the only reason why the dog came with Lisa is because the rest of them were flying commercial, including James and Allie. And so Lisa brought the dog. And I think that maybe Lisa had gotten training for the dog. That's why we see such a difference in the dog, like Sheena describes in the Amazon Live video that says like a totally different dog. I think Lisa got training for the dog, maybe had James go home with the dog, brought him to Allie. Then they show in the preview like he's still acting rough and stuff, and the cats are there. And of course, that's hard with cats and dogs in many cases. And got the dog training. Maybe she took him for the training and then delivered the doggy to James in Tahoe and surprised everybody else except James and Allie because James and Allie already knew.
Got it. Okay.
That could be what happened. So
I
we shall
guess,
see.
but I don't know. Those James's emotions seemed real in that moment for me, at
They did
least.
seem real. That's probably what happened. That's probably what happened.
Also, though, I don't know if you saw this. Rachel posted the other day on Instagram. She was like, "If anyone knows anything about the timeline of," did you see that?
I did. I actually did. Yeah, that I posted the Sheena video. I was like, well, if she looks at my page, you'll see the Sheena video. Um,
Oh,
but
I didn't even put two and two together. You're so right. Okay, true.
But the Sheena video, I mean, doesn't prove anything. But what I wanted her to see if she saw the Sheena video is that she doesn't say in the video that James was surprised. She says, "We were all like, what?" Like, but she doesn't say James was shocked or James and Allie were so she says that they were emotional, but she doesn't make it clear that James was surprised. So, at all. So I think that that's probably what happened. But a lot of people are like, "Forget it. It's fake. It's all fake. The whole show is fake."
No, that's so true. I feel like it's so polarizing. Truly.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about you know what? I don't feel like getting into the Britney and Jax rumors. Basically, I don't know. I don't care. Do you care?
Not really, because I think it was just done I mean, I don't know. I care a little bit. I do care a little bit, but not enough where it's like I don't think there's any girth or truth. Don't say girth. I don't think
Girth?
yeah, no, no, no.
You just said girth? Wait, Do you use this often?
I don't know why. Sometimes, like I said ludicrous before, I haven't said that word in a while. I love that word, but I haven't said it in a while.
Yeah,
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 the
yeah.
podcast just brings out, like, a whole new lexicon. Yeah, I said girth.
Lexicon? Do you use that word often?
That I do, I swear.
Wow.
That is my typical now I'm gonna use another one, jargon that I
Okay,
use.
I use jargon.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say jargon's typical.
Yeah.
But, I just feel
Well,
like
jargon's only typical if you studied for the SATs, I feel like.
okay, also, just this is so random, but did you know not every state does the Regents testing? I don't know if your state does Regents.
No, it doesn't, but I will tell you that my father told me for my entire life that he had the highest score on the regions in math when he was in high school. So I know the regions because my father will not stop talking about it.
Yeah, that's a big deal. That is a very big deal. But yeah, girth was a vocabulary word back in the day. I remember studying for
Oh, for
that.
the
But anyway,
regions?
yeah, but the Regents were like anyway. But
Okay.
yeah, I just feel like I care a little bit because I'm like, okay, clearly some that came out of I don't think that came out of left field, especially because of their response on the podcast. I felt like they
Yeah.
lightly touched on it, but they
Mhm.
didn't deny it. So it came from somewhere, you know?
It came from somewhere. Where the reason why I'm saying I don't care, I do. I'm interested. I keep sharing little things, but it kind of reminds me of the Mauricio and Kyle shit where I'm like, we're not going to know the fucking truth. So we don't even need to know the truth. It's your business. What you're going to put on the show, you put on the show. I I don't know. I have like a hard time with the whole family things when it's like children and separation and you make people who are already having a harder time maybe in their relationship have it even harder. And I
Yeah.
just so I was, like, trying to post things to show, like, "Look, they're fine," because he commented that they were fine, and but then they said that on the podcast, and I'm like, "Well, you kinda don't sound fine," but I just don't know how much I want to post about it, even though I know people are interested in it, because actually, I don't even know how interested people are in it, because a lot of people are just like, "I hate Jax."
See, again, another polarizing topic, but I mean,
Yeah.
no, I feel like there are people that definitely do care about it. Um, at least the ones commenting on one of the videos that I left, definitely very involved. Um,
Mhm. How do you feel about Jackson Bird? So I really like I God, people are gonna hate me after this, I feel like, 'cause I I loved the growth that I have seen from Jax, and I was really excited for that, and I feel like Jax has had a lot of growth, and with Brittany, I think that they work well together as a couple. I think their son is adorable. I think their family looks cute, and I like their podcast, believe it or not. It's kind of funny because she has to correct him a lot, but that's why I kind of like listening to it because it's very husband and wife, and they sound happy on the podcast, although I guess you could sound however you want for an hour, but um, they
See,
sound
I
they
also think I have a little bit of a different viewpoint of it too, only because well, one, I'm not married, but two, like, I also see it as like a business relationship. Like, at some points, I feel like you might, if you are doing work with a spouse or partner, you kind of you got to still do the business of it.
Uh-huh.
Like, how what you're saying, like, well, I guess you could for like an hour kind of do something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially if they have some kind of obligation to it. Yeah. Mhm. True, that's true. So we saw Jax had posted the after show they're filming the after show and he's filming with Tom and Tom. Did you see that?
No, I didn't get a chance to see that. So you could fill me in.
So guess what? Jax, Tom, and Tom are filming after show episodes together. And
Wait, for
so
the Steve Vanderpump?
yes. Oh, last night you weren't there either. Okay, and last night Kristen was filming with Sheena for the after show, and
Okay.
Lala was filming with Brittany. So, I think they were doing the Valley last night, but I'm not positive. Today it said Vanderpump, like, he showed what it said, and it said Vanderpump. So, it's so funny because people are like, "Jax is not really gonna be on Vanderpump, he's just saying that." No, he's actually on Vanderpump. We did have footage from him, like, behind the scenes footage of him, and I have to post that video. Remind me to post that video for them to see. But also, he is on more than we thought he was. They're going to do more of the crossover scenes than we originally thought.
Oh, that makes me that okay. I was already
Yeah.
excited for the Valley, honestly. That makes me that much more excited. I love a good crossover.
Which, by the way, there's been a lot of talk about different people on the show moving over to the Valley, and Kristen also talked about that today on her podcast.
Hmm.
Lala and Sheena are definitely gonna be moving over, I think, at
You
some
think so?
point. I think so. But I think that the way Kristen said it on the podcast almost made it sound like she was talking about Katie, which was super interesting to me. And Katie did say she wanted it recently. She was on, I listened to her on the Nikki and Brie podcast, and she said, I think that she wanted to buy a house somewhere outside the LA area. I don't know. I guess that's not is that the Valley outside the LA area or no?
Yeah. So that does make sense
Um,
then, actually.
she wasn't sure where exactly, but I just feel like she's moved. That's totally what she meant.
Fourth
Now,
gasp.
what?
I said fourth gasp.
How much does it hurt when I do that? A lot? Like, do you think listeners will be like, "Oh shit"?
No, it doesn't hurt. I'm like, what is she about to say?
Oh, okay. It totally that's totally what she meant. Shit, Katie's gonna move to the Valley too, you think?
I could see that, especially because of her location, where she's at in her life. I genuinely feel like some of the cast members have outgrown Vanderpump.
Yeah, you're right.
I hate to say that. I don't want to say that. I don't want it to be over, but I feel like they have outgrown it.
Yeah.
You know, when like,
No.
what is it? You know, like a hermit crabs, how they always have to find like a new shell because they outgrow theirs? Like,
Is that
that's
a
how,
hermit crab thing?
I think, right? Because they grow.
I have, like, a really traumatic story with a hermit crab.
Me too.
Do you also?
When I was younger, yeah, I had two. Snickers
Wait,
and
if your
Prince.
story is gonna be the same as my story, I'm gonna freak out.
Was one of them missing?
No.
Oh.
I came home from somewhere after after just getting the hermit crab, and I was a little girl. And my mom had my sister. My sister was a lunatic when she was little, and it was, like, so hard to get her in and out of the car. She's no longer like that. Now as an adult, she's very good at getting in and out of the car.
Can she get in and out on her own now?
She gets in and out of her own now. Hold on. Hold on. But my point is
Just
I
for
had to
context, like how old is your sister? Just for context.
my sister's my sister's in her mid-30s.
Right, okay. I'm
I'm
yeah.
really tired. So, anyway, I had to get myself out of the car a lot, even though I probably would at the cage anyway. But, like, because my sister was so difficult, I had to, like, get myself out of the car. And I had to be responsible to help bring things in, like my mother's gigantic coupon bag, which she brought everywhere, which was, like, the worst thing ever. I
The
hated her
coupons, man. That was a thing.
I love my mom, but, like, her coupon bag was it was, like, almost traumatic how annoying the coupon bag was.
Do you
Like,
remember
the
they
fact
had
that
those like red things in the aisles and you used to be able to like push it and a coupon thing would print out?
oh, wasn't that a good one?
I remember those and I just remember always running up and down the aisles wanting to press it and it was so fun.
It was so fun. I loved when they had the cookie dough ones.
Yes.
The Pillsbury was on
I
sale,
was
you'd be
just
like,
about to
"Mom."
say, I never really saw any like great coupons where I was excited, but if it was like a food product that I liked, like a cookie or something or ice cream, I was excited.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because you never knew till you did it, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And then when you did it, like, if it was, like, I don't know, aspirin, that sucked. But
Right. Or like a cleaning supply or like a tissue. Yeah.
that's not
As a
fun.
kid, at least. As an adult now, I'd be very thankful. But yeah, times are
Yeah,
different.
right? Do they so they don't have those anywhere anymore,
I
that's a thing of
haven't
the past?
seen one in a long time, yeah. That
Oh
was like
my
a
god.
memory museum popping up.
Alright, so the fucking hermit crab. So, we had gone to the beach and just gotten this hermit crab, and I left it in the car because I forgot to take it out. It was, like, a long ride back from the beach, and
Oh, this
I
is
remembered 2 hours later, and I came back, and my little freckles was crispy.
Freckles became dinner.
Oh
He
my
was
god, it was so sad.
No, I'm so sorry. I think mine ate the other one.
Oh, they do that. Did you put them together?
We were together. It was Snickers and Twix.
Oh, well, Snickers and Twix are delicious. I can't really blame them.
But I was like, "Wait, where?" And it's like its shell was there and it wasn't there, and I was like, "I don't know." And the other one was bigger, and my parents were like, "Oh, like, it probably crawled out and it probably went back home." And that's where I still think to this day it is, back home
Oh my
somewhere.
So funny. I think that that's like a thing. I think they tell you you could put them together, but then that happens and they don't warn you about that.
Same with, like, hamsters and stuff too.
Oh
Not
god, please.
putting them
Well, let's
together.
not talk about hamsters. I can't.
Okay.
I have too many sad stories. No, it's
That's
not
an
it
animal I
lived a
never
long life. It lived a really long life. What?
Yeah, that's an animal. Well, I had a Chinese dwarf hamster, but it's like the
Mhm.
size of your thumb. It's very tiny.
Oh,
It was so cute. Yeah, Theodore.
Theodore, that's a good name. Okay,
Okay,
so wait,
anyway.
what were we what happened with hermit crabs?
Why did we bring that up? Oh, because of the shells, and I said people are outgrowing. I think that the cast members are outgrowing
Oh,
the
yeah.
rules.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, we're linking it right back. There we go. That's where it fits.
Do you remember the Vanderpump Rules Summer House crossover?
Yes.
That
So
scene between Stassi and Kyle?
with a turtleneck bathing suit. What did he say?
That's the image that I remember Stassi. Is that funny?
Really? When you think
Like
of her, that's what
Stassi
you think?
yes, I think of turtleneck hot tub
Oh my god, that's so funny. I think
because
of
it's
I
just
Am the Devil and Don't You
so
Forget It.
dramatic.
Yeah. I also love on that trip, Sheena. They were being they were so annoyed at Sheena because she wasn't drinking, and they were saying how annoying and boring she is or something, and how she's just so particular about things. "Well, I don't like this," and I don't which, by the way, is probably part OCD. I wish I could talk to Sheena, but, it's probably part her OCD. I have to, kinda delve into that a little bit myself, and when I do talk about OCD on the podcast, which has to be, like, a separate episode, I think I was gonna talk about maybe doing one where we just talk about Sheena with the OCD, and maybe we do, like, a mental health type episode
Yes, I would love that, yes.
because we talk too much when it comes to the other stuff, but they were so mean to her because she was, like, not wanting to do anything, and she was
They were mean. That was kind of like a little bit of the energy back then. It was a little meaner.
Oh my god, Sheena on vacation with them, though, was funny, and then it just reminds me, just have to bring up how much I love Kristen on vacation. Like, okay, so we say Crazy Kristen. They say Crazy Kristen. I guess they say Crazy Kristen and Crazy Joe.
No, so maybe that is, like, their thing. Maybe maybe that's just, like I don't know, you know how you use certain language sometimes with certain friends? Maybe
Yeah,
they just it's not really labeling them per se as crazy, but maybe "Oh, yeah, that's wild so and so, that's crazy so and so." You know what I mean?
yeah. But you know what? You shouldn't do it because it's true, then everybody perpetuates Crazy Kristen.
Yes, and also they have large platforms and people take things literally. So, yes, I agree.
Yeah, but I do love Kristen on vacation.
Oh, yeah. No, I
When
do love Crazy Kristen.
when she was on was it called Slovang? Slovang? What's a place?
Oh, yes. Yes, Slova I can't say it, don't ask.
When she fell when she oh, poor Kristen. Does she just get, like, really bad anxiety on vacation? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it could be, like, a lot of people really do have travel anxiety, so I could see that.
I think I relate to her more as I get older. I'm like, "Yep." And she's a little older than I am, so I think I understand her more. Anyway, so we talked about Jax, and they are going to be filming the crossovers, and I did get confirmation that there are several crossovers, so that'll be cool.
We're gonna have more crossover episodes?
Yes.
Okay, very excited.
I don't know how they're gonna present it, but yes, I'm thinking episodes. I know there are several crossover scenes,
Okay, I love that. That makes me
and
happy.
not just the 2 that I posted. There are other ones I found out about.
I'm down. I really do love a good crossover. I just feel like it livens the show up a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like, it's always nice to add a little bit of spice in different ways, and that's one of them where I'm like, "Okay, cool. I'm looking forward to that now."
I agree, and you know what? We didn't get to say this at the beginning, but boy, do we need something on Vanderpump because the mental health is so important. I feel for Sandoval with the mental health. We didn't say that here really, but I know people don't believe him. I do believe him. I think that it's dangerous, like we said, I think last time, to mess with not believing someone when they say that they've had thoughts at dark. I'd much rather believe them and be wrong than not believe them and something worse happen. But
Yeah,
I
I'd
don't
rather be told, "I told you so," from someone else that maybe thought it than actually deny what he could be going through. I will never diminish what somebody is saying that they're feeling, you know what I mean? Like, who are we to say, like, "No, you weren't really thinking or feeling that," you know?
right. And I think that even though, and we've said this, even though we're team Ariana, we can still have empathy for Sandoval and what he's going through from his own doing, all his own doing, but have empathy that, you effed up big time, but now you've taken on a lot of hate. And I think at some point, enough is enough of just the extreme hatred. He is who he is. I mean, people have been poking fun for years, but some of it is just way too harsh on him. And in saying that, like we've said before, Ariana has every right to not have to deal with any of that. That's not her responsibility. She is no longer, his mouthpiece. She does not have to teach him what to say anymore. She doesn't have to make him feel okay or be okay. He left her when he left the relationship. When he started stepping out, that, cut those ties. So Ariana should never be made to feel bad about this. However the girl is feeling, she's feeling. If she's angry, she's angry. If she's using nasty language about him, let her use the fucking nasty language about him. She's pissed off. This is only a few months later. Like, let it happen. Think about how you would be in the situation.
I
And
feel like, personally, all of Ariana's reactions have been very appropriate. Like, I don't understand when people are calling her dramatic, and I just wanna add, because you did mention it, that's something I feel like we both connected on very deeply, and something that did bring us together is the fact that we're able to compartmentalize. In the same breath, I can say, "Tom, what you did was really, really shitty." I can also, in the other breath, be like, "You're still a person, and I do hold space of empathy for you."
mhm,
That's
yeah,
really, really important, and I just feel like if you can be flexible, like, with that, you have a better chance of getting to an understanding, you know?
I agree. I
But, yeah, I think
definitely
Ariana's reactions are very appropriate. I don't get where she's being dramatic.
no, and like, why are people calling her mean? How are you calling her mean? What do you expect her to do? What
But
do you
also,
expect her
like,
to
that
do?
scene at James's for the pool party, that
Yeah.
wasn't even mean. That was just her being, like, truthful, like, "What do you guys want me to do?" Like, I was just like, I would've said the same thing in the same way.
Yeah, like, "Bitch, I'm not gonna make a freaking post telling everybody to be nice to him when he fucking cheated on me for 7 months behind my back." Like,
And it's not
no.
rainbows and butterflies. This is real life. And also, not for nothing, Tom even admitted that Ariana was showing grace towards him and wasn't
Right.
even coming at him as hard. So it's like she's done her part. All of her reactions are very, very appropriate. And yeah,
Yeah. And she did check on him. And you know what I have to say? This is a big thing that people keep saying, that they don't believe that he really felt that way. He did not come out and say this. Like Anne said, right? Or who said it? I don't remember who said it, where they said it. Was it on the show or was it on a podcast? That Anne reached out to someone because she was afraid of the way he was acting. She felt like something bad was going to happen.
right. Like it didn't just come from nowhere.
I could think he's a douche and still think that maybe he's not trying to manipulate here, at least.
I do not personally think that, again, I don't know, but I cannot say if he is or is not using that in a manipulative way. Do you know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Right, 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 right.
I don't feel comfortable saying that because then that makes me feel like I am denying his own mental health.
Right.
Oh my god, Tom.
So the point about that was saying that the topics have been so heavy and a lot of us deal with mental health issues in our own life. And I think that's important for them to showcase them on the show. And I like that. It's just becoming so heavy that it's not even a break from your own reality for a lot of people. And it's good to connect and all of that, but I'm looking forward to the Vanderpump Valley crossovers because I think we need some light, like Jax coming on and being like a maniac.
Jack just being Jack, jaxing it up, yeah.
So the behind the scenes video I have, and by the way, I cannot remember who sent me this video, and I hate when that happens. Oh, spoiler alert, by the way, if you don't want to know this, you could just skip ahead. But you can see him in the distance far away, and he's, like, yelling. They're in a pretty dark bar/restaurant, and he's leaving filming. I know the boys were in the back. It was Jax, Sandoval, Schwartz, maybe Max, not sure, and I think James was only there shortly and left, and then Jax ends up leaving, and that's what I see on the filming. Jax is leaving, and he looks pissed off. His arms are flailing everywhere, and there was, like, something that went on between him and Sandoval.
That's yeah, exactly. Like, I need crossovers stat.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
need it. Especially also, I know that we're probably not gonna talk about it, but especially after Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, not sure if you got a chance to see it.
Yeah, that was super
That's
sad.
what I mean. It's just been heavy, heavy, heavy. Can we
Yes.
please get light, light, light? Can we do a little, like, maybe every other week, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. And
Yep.
just like
Okay.
Carl and Lindsay. Oh, do we wanna bring up Summer House real quick
We can, yeah.
before we go? Did you watch it?
Did I watch Summer House?
Yeah.
Did Summer House come out?
Yes, last night.
No! I didn't even know that was releasing. I'm bugging out
Yes.
right now. No.
Yes.
Nope. Nope, I did not get to see it. I didn't even know it came out.
Yes, it was good. It was
Oh, I'll
good.
watch it when we hang up. Do you wanna say anything? It's fine. Like, if you wanna say anything,
No, let's wait till the next episode then when you watch it because it was good.
I'll watch it right after.
I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I'm just gonna say, 1, my position has always been I was not like team Lindsay, Queen Lindsay, and I definitely was not like team Carl. My position is let me see what the fuck actually happens. Do you wanna do like if you could imagine a scene on Vanderpump that you wish would happen, what would it be?
If I could imagine
This will be how we close.
if I could imagine, like, a scene like, I could create a scene,
If you could create a scene happening on Vanderpump, yeah, what would it be?
I mean, I love animals and dogs, so I would just have, like, one episode with, like, the Lisa Vanderpump Dog Foundation.
Oh, are you into that?
Just because I love animals, and I think I don't know, I like, a little therapy animal relief week would be nice. Yeah, at this time. Um,
That's really funny.
I don't know, I think it would also be
Mm.
cool to maybe do, like, a group therapy session one episode. I think that would also kinda be cool.
That would be cool. I would like a group therapy session. I like that idea. They
Like
don't
a
do
talk
that.
therapy session, you know?
They might actually, I think they're gonna do something like that in Tahoe.
Oh, really?
Some type of, like, meditative Sandoval said it on something, one of his podcasts. Um, not one of the podcasts, he said something. Um,
Well, he's just going podcast crazy, so I got what you meant.
so if I could create any scene, it would be a sit-down scene where Schwartz would sit Katie down and say, "I just wanna apologize for what I've done to you over the years and have not realized, and how I've disrespected you and not counted your opinion and had Sandoval in my ear too much. And I just want you to know that I'm happy to see you thriving," which he says all the time. He always says this. "And I want you to find love, but I'm sorry because you deserved better." Like, that's what I want a fucking Katie and Schwartz scene so bad.
I know, I feel like we were gonna or I feel like maybe we all thought we were gonna get that when they had that sit-down dinner last season, and it did not go that way. It went south.
Oh, that was so sad watching that again, like, Katie crying.
Yep. It
She
was
was
very
so
nostalgic.
So hopefully next week's episode, we have some more positive things to talk about. It should be more fun. They're going to freaking Lake Tahoe, so it should be dramatic and fun, but also there is gonna definitely be heavy shit. I just hope that there's a little bit more of the, like, what's the word for it?
Like floof? Not floof, but fluff?
Yeah, fluff. A little more fluff.
I think we need a little bit more fluff just because of how everything has gone. And also, speaking of Tahoe, I've never been. I've heard about it though so many times. Obviously, I've seen it. So I'm excited to like kind of go there virtually with them, you know?
Have you ever seen City of Angels?
You mean like Los Angeles?
No, the movie City of Angels.
Oh. I was like, because Los Angeles is like the
Yeah.
angels, angel
No,
city.
have you ever seen the movie City of Angels?
No.
Oh, then they go to Lake Tahoe. There's a lake house in Tahoe, and It's like super beautiful. You have to see that movie. It's a great movie.
I'm excited to live vicariously through them for sure.
Yeah. Me too. Thank you guys for listening again to another episode of Down to Reality. We hope that you had fun taking a break from your own reality.
Thank you guys so, so much. I always enjoy chatting about all things reality TV. Please remember to follow us on whatever streaming platform you are listening to, and we look forward to future chats.
Thank you. Later.
Later.